I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I need to inform you that the battle is to take our church illegally, to actually land grab, to forge documents, and to deny us due process in the courts is larger than even what I initially thought or saw. It is everywhere. It is spread like four-stage cancer from the Department of Environment, from first of all to the court, Supreme Court of the state of New York, to the appellate division, to the law firms, and now to the Department of Environmental Protection, who falsified records 6 months ago when they came out. Here's the deal. We are a tax-exempt organization. Churches are. We are 501c3 exempt. Federal government exempts us. We are exempt from taxes by the state of New York, by the city of New York. But the Department of Environmental Protection has the privilege to give you an exemption if you're a charitable organization, such as ours, for water and sewer usage. They charge everybody else for water and sewage, but they have the opportunity to give that. Our church is a multi-purpose building. It's a New York-style church. We have a sanctuary. We have a school area. We have a fellowship hall. We have an administrative area. We have a parsonage for the pastor. But we also have other apartments in the building that are used by members of the school or the administrative staff. Those are not exempt. Though they're tax exempt, they're federally tax exempt, they're New York State tax exempt, they're not tax exempt by the Department of Environmental Protection. So you have to get a meter, a separate meter put in, so that's which is taxable can be taxed, and that which is exclusively used for not-for-profit purposes or religious purposes is is exempt. We did that, but they didn't report it. 6 months ago, they falsified the records and say we didn't have it. This morning, another examiner came out, inspector came out, and said, well, you do have a meter here, but it ain't our meter. We don't know anything about it. As if to say, we still aren't going to give you the exemption. So I want to say to you, first of all, don't become discouraged. Don't think that somehow or another that this battle is so four-stage cancer that we can't win. We can, and we will. Worst comes to worst, we may have to cough up several $1 million. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I am confident, as your pastor, I want you to look at me, I'm confident we can win. But when we win, we need to take down every vestige of injustice. We need to take down every vestige of the LGBTQ influence, the pinch-nosed Negroes influence, the developers. Listen, we have a property here in excess worth north of $10 million, and it's our property. For years, it's well understood, and even now, the way most Americans have gained their wealth is through the ownership of property. You buy a house, you get the equity, you can send your children to school, you can buy a new house, get bigger equity. And the one thing that a lot has happened with the relationship of Hamites, that's black people, and bankers, that's white or Jewish or Shemite or Japheth people, is that there's been a lot of redlining. That is to say that Hamites have not had the opportunity to borrow money, to buy property, so they can begin to build wealth. And so one of the reasons why you don't see Hamites with a lot of money in terms of, socially across the board, is because they're not property owners. We own this property. And not only are they LGBTQ, they've got their own personal thing against me, but the banking industry realizes that I am a threat, like the man called the other day. There's a target on my back. I'm a threat because we own property, and we're teaching other people the power of to wealth through the ownership of property. Listen, let me talk to you. I'm going to let you go. You got to understand we're going to win, but the battle is intense. When we win, we're going to take down everything and expose every rat. We're going to expose every snake when we take them down. And I'm just the man to do it. I'm just the man to do it. What I want to say to you is that while you're sitting there and you're not helping me, I see a lot of people on Facebook, YouTube, and everything. Pastor Manny, we're praying for you. And I don't want you to pity me. I don't need nobody's pity. No, you see me in a bear fight, help the bear. But this business of you praying for me, that's precious. I mean, you would actually go before the Lord, the Holy One, and would talk to him about me. And if you do that, you know what he's going to tell you? He ain't going to tell you to sit there and spend all your money running around having a good time and buying clothes and buying toys and video games. He ain't going to tell you to keep doing it. If you go talk to the master, you go talk to Jesus, you say, Pastor Man's out there fighting, the Lord going to tell you, well, then turn around and help him. He going to take you spend money on video games, new cars, new clothes, restaurant dining. He ain't going to you mean to tell me the God that we serve ain't going to let you pray? You going to get up in his face? Because you say you praying about me. You say you pray, you going to get up in his face and he ain't going to tell you to send some money to help? You got to be out your mind. I mean, if you get in his face, God going to tell you to help me. God going to tell you, put your money where your prayers are. I ain't going to tell you. I'm going to tell you to help. So we're going to win. But you sit there and watch me fight everything from the largest organization in America, larger than the Democrat Party, larger than the Republican Party, the LGBTQ people, the courts, the judges. And you said you talked to the Lord about that and he ain't told you to help me? You say you talked to Jesus about that? No, you got to help. You got to send financial resources to help us fight this battle. I am a threat. What I teach and what I preach is a threat. You know, there's a lot going on. I've been telling you now, it looks like a lot of these young entertainers are coming out against the Jewish people. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. But I can tell you this. I am a threat to not just Jewish people in that regard. My finance is because I believe the same word they believe. I believe the same God they serve, I serve. I believe the same teachings of Moses is good for me and good for mine. I believe that's a threat. That's a threat. And not only that, but this teaching will lift the Hamite black man, if he calls himself African American, he calls him, will lift him to heights. He'll be the head only and not below. The head only, not the tail. He'll be above only, not beneath. I ask you to pray for me. If you pray for me, I don't see how you're going to get down on your knees or lay down in your bed and pray for me, and God didn't tell you to send me something to help me fight. Pray for me. And then you'll sure enough give. I'm James David Manning, everybody. I've told y'all time and time again. I'm the Lord's servant. Don't you ever forget that. I'm the Lord's servant. Don't you forget it. Don't judge me. I'm God's servant. I've been called by God. The Lord called me, built me up, stood me up, cleaned me up, washed me up, sanctified me, filled me with the Holy Ghost and fire. I'm the Lord's servant. Born down there in North Carolina, but I'm the Lord's servant.